Hi, everyone. So, my talk will be a little bit different. I don't have a long experience with the Upanishads. I don't really know the names or anything like that. The only thing that I can contribute is whatever I know. If I know it, I can talk about it. If I don't know it, I haven't been able to memorize it. I can only tell you what my experience is. And I think I could start with, when I was a kid, I had this dilemma. And the dilemma was, I started reading, and understanding. I read some of Maharishi and all kinds of other people, and they talked about the absolute. I was very young. I said, absolute? What is it? Whoa. And they said it's everywhere. Yet here I am, I'm standing right here, and they're telling me the absolute is all pervasive and everywhere. How come I'm standing here then? Doesn't make sense. It made no sense to me. How can the absolute be everywhere? How can it be luminously all pervasive, and I'm still just standing here with a body and I'm seeing people and everything else? It's not possible. Either they're not telling the truth or I'm not getting it. So here I am, I'm supposed to be the absolute. So I get back to, I think, Michael, you were saying these aphorisms or anavakyas that are in the... Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. So I read this thing that I am that. Whoa, that's 3 words. There's not one word, there's this that. I assume that was the absolute. So I'm going to take a little different angle on these aphorisms. And then there's this word am. That's a process. Something's going on here. And then there's this word I. What the heck? I am that. So here's somebody who knows something. There's I am the knower. There's somebody who knows something. There's a process, am. And then there's that, the absolute. At least that's how I looked at it. So I am that. That's much more interesting than just nothing. Surely the M part of I is something. There's an experiencer there. There's a process there. There's somebody having the experience. Well, that's encouraging. It's not just an empty whatever. Then there was the other one, thou art that. And I'm not saying them exactly right, but thou art that. So everybody's having this experience. Whoa, it's starting to fill up a little bit, right? It's getting more interesting. And all this is nothing but that. So everything is that. That was very interesting to me. I was in maybe early 20s or late teens. And when I heard all this is nothing but that, I would say that had more of a profound effect on me than I am that. Because, well, here I am, a kid, running around doing all the stuff that kids do, and here's the biggest minds in the universe telling me that this is the absolute. I am that. Now, to illustrate this point a little bit more, you remember, I think most of us went to some courses, Maharishi's courses, the 6-month course, I don't forget what they used to be called, but there were the early ones, there were 6 months. I went to one, Kathy went to one, and there was criteria for going into these courses. There was 3 criteria. One was you had no experience. I think they were called nil, or you had hazy experience, and that was another kind of course you'd go to, and then the third kind was no clear experience, right? So at the time, I was having experiences that I didn't understand. I was having a witness. I was awake at night, but it wasn't anything. There was nothing there. It was separate from me. So of course I went to the nil course. I mean, really, come on. There was no experience. It was separate. I didn't know what it was. It was empty. I ran around and I had this witness. It was awake at night, nothing there. So I went to the nil course. I arrived at the nil course and, I talked to the people and I was a little perplexed for a while. And then I went to the course leader, John, I think it was John Coe or something. And I said, I think I misunderstood a little bit. And John looks at me like I'm a little bit, nuts or something. I mean, come on. you're not having no experience, you're having the experience that we're looking for. I say, well, you better give me my money back then, because, it really wasn't much of an experience. It's witnessing. So I thought that illustrates to me, still, this is like 40 years later, illustrates to me that how simple pure consciousness is. In its beginning days and its developing days. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. It's so natural, at least for me, and I assume it's the same for everybody, that if you look the other way for a moment, you'll forget it. Pure consciousness is just something it's more natural than not having it, right? More natural than not having it. So the experiences that I'm going to relate, the way that they relate to the Upanishads, I don't know too much about the Upanishads. I finally read them. I hadn't read them for 30, 40 years, and I finally read them again. And what I noticed now, reading the Upanishads, was that I felt very comfortable and familiar with what I was reading.